I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Now, today we're reading from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 30. Let's focus on verses 1 through 3. The word of the Lord came to me again, saying, Son of man, prophesy, and say, Thus says the Lord God, Wail, woe to the day, for the day is near, even the day of the Lord is near, and it will be a day of clouds, the time of the Gentiles. Well, for the first time in Ezekiel's book, we read the phrase, the day of the Lord. And while the day of the Lord can sometimes refer to an event in the near future, it usually describes the consummation or the end of time when God will come to judge the world. And in today's passage, we find Ezekiel is describing an event that is not in the too distant future, the ransacking of North Africa by the Babylonians. But we must understand that all these passages are forecasts and foretastes of judgment, of what will most definitely come upon the world at the end of time. For centuries, Israel had entertained the thought that the day of the Lord would bring nothing but blessings for them. But that was a naive view, and Isaiah had been warning Israel of this before its collapse to the Assyrians. Isaiah chapter 2, verses 12 and 7 through 17. The Lord Almighty has a day in store for all of the proud and lofty, for all that is exalted, and they will be humbled. The arrogance of man will be brought down low, and the pride of men humbled. The Lord alone will be exalted in that day. Now, Ezekiel, like Amos, warns that the day of the Lord will be dark. Now, the prophet Zephaniah also spoke of it. Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 15. It is a day of wrath, a day of distress and anguish, a day of trouble and ruin, a day of darkness and gloom, a day of clouds and blackness. Now, there are four particular features of the day of the Lord, and they're worth considering. So, number one, it is a day of distress, okay? It is a day that is imminent. It's coming. It is a day of judgment, and no one, apart from the Messiah, can escape it. So as mentioned before, the error of Israel had been that they believed that the day of the Lord will be a day of judgment against the Gentiles, and it would act as a way to vindicate the Jewish people. But upon closer observation, while today's chapter deals with Gentile nations, a day was appointed by the Lord when Israel was also judged and routed by the Babylonians right along with all the other nations. And so God's judgment is against apostasy, regardless of nationality. And ultimately, not all Israel was delivered during the day of the Lord. On the contrary, only a remnant was delivered. Those who faithfully followed the Lord and believed in His word. They will be delivered amid His judgment. And likewise, in the coming day of the Lord, it'll be the remnant of Israel, those who trust in the Messiah, Jesus, who will be saved, along with Gentile believers. The question is, whom have you trusted in? I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Now, Groundworks Ministries operates entirely through financial donations from faithful people just like you. Yes, we do need your monthly support. Donating is secure and it's easy at our website, groundworksministries.com. You know, there's another way to help us, and that is just tell people that we're out there. Tell people about Groundworks Ministries. Share our podcast with friends and family and on your social media. And of course, you can always direct folks to our website, groundworksministries.com.